I am Justin Boyd.
Tristan Jones.
Franklin Cooper.
And we are the Watchers in the Basement. Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. Welcome to Watchers Football, a podcast within a podcast. And a podcast is all about the pigskin. We are here today to discuss the NFL championship, the conference championship round. The games are done. The Super Bowl 60 matchup is set up. But before we get to that matchup, let's talk about what happened on Sunday, Championship Sunday. And let's start from the first game. Let's go with the Patriots pulling off the upset in a way. They're on the road in Denver. They beat the Broncos 10-7 in a game that was definitely impacted by the weather in the second half, but a game that was, I thought, pretty tough to watch. Tristan, what did you think about that? The Patriots getting the 10-7 win in Denver.
Man, I for a moment there, it looked like a game that Denver could pull off. Stidham, he made some plays on their first drive, like a 52-yard bomb, nice RPO keep, that he took for like eight or some yards for a first down. And then they got their first touchdown, had a chance to go up 10-0, and it's one of the more inept decisions I've seen Sean Payton make. Because it was essentially over from there. Like once the weather kind of kicked in, and restricted the little that Jarrett Stidham could do with his arm. Run game wasn't working. It was kind of really only a matter of time. And we talked about this last week, but both defenses playing really well. It was going to come down to which offense could make enough plays to get some points on, get a lead, and then just kind of hold serve from there. And that's essentially what happened. Like it was really nothing. The New England Patriots offense didn't do anything first half. They didn't do anything second half. But like I said, they made enough plays. Drake made a flea flicker, and it was like a 28-yard Drake May run, and of course his first down pickup at the end. That essentially was the game, man. And obviously, stupid Jarrett Stidham. Very predictable, stupid Jarrett Stidham turnover in the first. He tried to give away one on their fourth down too, but that essentially was the game, man. Like who could get a lead, hold serve. Mother Nature came in and did her damage, and that was essentially the game right there.
Yeah, the Sean Payton decision in the second quarter. You're right there. It's 7-0. They're driving 4th and 1, and I think it's inside the 20 or so, and chip shot field goal. You go up 2-0. At that point, the Broncos defense had full control of the Patriots offense. They were dead in the water. The decision to go for it, I don't get there, but also, the decision on 4th and 1 to do a play action fake rollout play, which I guess is just like everybody's plays now. It's like, like you're not like, it's not like you're like marching down the field in their defense. Like you're getting, you're getting the third down, you're getting you end up getting first downs, but it's not like you're just like cutting like through them. Like I don't understand that play call. And I was watching the game, and when that happened, I said, I bet they're going to lose, and I bet they don't score again. And it worked out exactly like that. Now, granted, I did not know about the weather that was coming because, here in Houston, where we're located, and all around the country, obviously there's a huge winter storm happening. So I was more worried about the weather here in Houston. I wasn't focused on the weather in Denver, but I assumed Sean Payton maybe knew the weather wasn't going to be great later in that game. So very interesting call. Frank, what'd you think about that decision in that game as a whole? Because there just wasn't much to that game.
Yeah, man. I mean, pretty much to echo what Tristan's saying, it was just very, and you too, Justin, just very, very overzealous on like some of the decision making. You have to, like, as a head coach, your job is to understand every possible scenario and every possible outcome, barring, of course, barring injury. And you knew the Doppler radar, all this going on with the weather. You knew that the second half, a storm was brewing, literally. Like you knew this, and to make that decision as if there were going to be a plethora of other opportunities to go down the field. It was arrogant. And Sean Payton has had some of these games in the playoffs, even with the Saints back in the day, of like just poorly planned orchestrated like views of philosophy as far as like what you're trying to do in this particular game, whether it's poor clock management, poor play design, or just being overly aggressive when you don't have to. And again, you have the number 3 defense, in football. Like, rely on your defense. You're at home. Denver has been a house of horrors for teams coming in there all year long. All year long, even in the playoffs, it's been a house of horrors. So use that to your advantage and play close to the vest, because you have a defense that leads the league in sacks. They have a secondary that makes plays and gets turnovers and can turn you over, and you have pass rushers that get to the quarterback. And I felt like he didn't understand the assignment as far as like what his strengths were. I don't know if you guys remember, like a couple weeks ago, I said the main thing I was excited about in this playoffs was watching coaches fuck up and go and like make timely mistakes to where it will cost them games. We've seen this now 3 straight weeks in a row in playoffs of just coaches making timely mistakes. It's exciting to me. I love the Monday morning quarterbacking of these decisions and laughing at these people. But again, I was very surprised of some of the veteran coaches making these decisions. And especially when you have a backup quarterback. It's one thing if you have Bo Nix out there.
Right.
I might understand it, like, okay, Bo Nix has the running and passing ability to where he has the dual threat to where you might get other opportunities. Bro, you have Jerry Stidham out there. He hasn't threw an NFL pass in an NFL game since 2023. Why are you putting yourself in situations to where you're putting him in dire straits? You can tell even after that fourth down blunder, they'll play it close to the vest the whole game. Yeah. And by the time the snow fell down, it was a wrap. So I put that on Sean Payton, man. The defense did their job. They sacked Drake May like 5 or 6 times. They put constant pressure on him. If you're a defensive guy walking away from that game, you're pissed. You're pissed at your coach for putting your quarterback in that situation, your backup quarterback who has not played in 3 years.
Yeah.
This is what I said real quick. Like,
go ahead.
We'll see how much Sean Payton actually believes in Jerry Stidham. Despite all of the everything he was saying about him, just trying to hype him up to Denver fans. Like, the play calling is going to tell us how much you believe in him, right? And after that fourth down, I don't know if he threw past 10, 15 yards after that, which tells us like, hey, Sean Payton understood. Let me get a little bit more conservative, especially after that. They didn't convert and essentially left 3 points on the board, and that turned out to be like a disastrous mistake. But he didn't really believe in him, It's like, also, if you believed in him, you would have never drafted Bo Nix. Let's just say, let's call that out. So, like, you could say whatever during the week, but like the actual, hey, the run balance, like how much trust you put in him to like throw the ball down the field. There wasn't enough trust to justify that fourth down decision.
And on top of that, too, like, what makes the decision even more egregious going for on fourth down, Pat Bryant's out of that game. Troy Franklin got hurt last week. So your number 2, number 3 receivers are out of that game. You're relying on Marvin Mims and little Jordan Humphrey. And God forbid, I love me some little Jordan Humphrey from Texas. Thank you, little Jordan Humphrey, for your contributions for your 4 years in Texas. But come on, bro. Like, these are your guys you're relying on. Like you're already deficient of weapons on the outside. Why would you put your offense in even more peril of missing out on points with your playing your 4th and 5th receivers out there getting viable playing time?
Yeah. Yeah, even after that fourth down, Denver stopped them. They got the ball back, and that's when we got the pivotal play of the game where Stidham, he's being pressured, he backpedals, and he did this a couple times in the game. I don't know what he was doing. He kept trying to do like a 2-hand chest pass, like to get rid of the ball. But this time the ball's like deflected. Honestly, I wasn't sure that it was a fumble because to me it didn't look like it was a backward pass. I don't know what y'all thought about that part of it, but I did think it was once again very weird calls this weekend where if it was a fumble, the Patriots picked up and they scored a touchdown. Like it wasn't like one of those ones where it was like, oh, they weren't sure. They picked it up and they ran the end zone. So to me, it's like if you're going to call the fumble, why wouldn't it be a touchdown? So Tristan, I want to get your thoughts. Did you think it was a backwards pass? To me, it looked like it was kind of a forward sideways pass. I mean, it's just a weird looking play anyway, but just the call was weird, I thought.
Live, I thought it was. I didn't think it was a fumble. I thought it was a
Yeah.
stupid pass.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was going to be intentional grounding at the very
Right.
least.
Yeah.
But I'm also of the belief that when you do like really, you make really stupid decisions, anything that happens after, I can't necessarily fault. Just like if somebody makes like a really cool catch and it may or may not actually be a catch, I think you should count it. Just like the cool factor. Like I think we should also apply the stupidity factor in that, because it was 3rd and 4.
Right.
There was no chance of them getting a positive play once two dudes got in his face, let alone 3. At that point, bro, go down, eat the sack. You know, there's no difference between the 3rd and 4, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. Like you're gonna punt regardless. Like get rid of it. You know, go down. And he managed to like do the one thing that you do not need your backup quarterback to do, which is to compound a bad play and make it into a disastrous. And essentially, I think the Patriots scored 2 plays later.
Yeah.
You can't give those things up, man, especially when you had a chance to like go up 10 points and now all of a sudden it's tied and, you know, the ball starts rolling on you actually losing that game. And again, Sean Payton and Jared Stidham worked in tandem to like make some very egregious mistakes. I don't think there was a lot of mistakes in this game, but like because of the elements, because of how really essentially close those teams were as far as talent, the margins were very slim. So like the Patriots didn't make mistakes and they won. And that's really all it took.
Yeah, Drake May had a couple of runs, and that's all that was left in the game. I mean, to me, like much of the second half was kind of unwatchable. I mean, like CBS didn't even know where the ball was. They were openly like saying like, we don't know where the ball is. Like we're not sure. Even on the one of the field goals the Broncos attempted and missed in the second half, after the game, they were saying, I'm not sure the ball was even spotted correctly. We're not sure if we placed it correctly. Like it was just kind of a total, kind of a shit show with that, given the weather. But once again, that's the reason why in the first half you got to get points, especially with your backup quarterback. It just was, strategically it was a loss for Sean Payton across the board, I thought. Frank, your thoughts on the Stidham play? Did you think it was a fumble? I mean, what'd you think when you saw it live?
Nah, I thought it was an egregious intentional grounding pass. That's what I thought. I didn't think it was a backwards pass. It didn't look like it from the onset, but just a bad like. I was arguing with somebody last night who's a Denver fan. He's like, "No, man, it's just Stidham just hasn't played enough." Like, bro, you've been playing quarterback since you were 7 years old. Like, not to commit that throw or even attempt that. Just eat the sack, bro. Like, at that juncture of the game, it's going to be points are not going to be scored often in this game. Like, just take the sack and make it a field position game. That was just very idiotic. I don't understand how a guy who's been in the league 5-6 years tries to make that play. It's crazy to me. I don't. You're a veteran quarterback. You might not have the snaps, but you have the common sense not to commit that stupid ass play.
It's reps, man. Like all the mental reps that you can have. Like if you don't apply actual physical reps, then until you like, there's a comfort level that comes with being in those situations. I even think like Cam Ward. You put him in that same situation, like he wouldn't make that mistake because he's had a whole season of like being in almost every situation. And Stidham he played for 2 franchises. He's played under veteran quarterbacks. He's played under MVP level quarterback, in his time. Like he's had everything in place as a backup quarterback to like know what to do in that situation. But until you're in it, championship game at home, like that's a wild situation to just kind of get thrown into. And all of every piece of like knowledge and meeting that he's been in, all that shit goes out the window when you got 2 dudes in your face and you're like, well, what am I gonna do? Like you can see him panic. You know what I'm saying? Like when they got in his face within the first 5 yards of his drop, you got to go down, bro. Like simple as that. In my head, I'm screaming, go down. And like he did instead of doing it, he did something like essentially way worse. So man, the mental reps are like half the battle, bro. You got to get out there and actually do it, and then doing it in that situation, bro, is going to bring. I think it will bring out the panic, the lemon booty in most, most young quarterbacks who don't have those reps.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, the one thing you could see, like, he can definitely throw the ball when he has time, or when he, when it's a play that he's comfortable with, that they've worked on or whatever, because that bomb to Mims that's a good throw. That was a big play. And it seemed like, they definitely had, like, that play was a scripted play that they'd worked on and were ready to go. But after that, after the first drive, it was pretty much, hey, there's a reason why this guy's a backup. And this is the AFC Championship game, and the weather just kind of took over the game, and it was ugly. It was an ugly game. Like, it really was, like, I talked about this last week where I said, hey, like, really both these matchups this weekend, they weren't that appealing to me, and any of the combinations that could have been the Super Bowl aren't appealing to me, and the one we're going to get, not super appealing to me, but I did think that the games were going to be close, and they were close. So let's move on to the other game, because that was actually a very good game.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Before we do, I kind of just want to talk about Drake May real quick.
Go for
it. Vrabel's doing a great job, man. Managing those games. The defense is doing great.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about, like, the mediocre play that Drake May's playing in the postseason, and I want to address this because I know it's going to happen. Like, we've all been watching. We're 40. We watched football for over 30 years, all of us, right?
Yeah.
And I know it's going to happen. If New England wins the Super Bowl, they're going to be talking about Drake May MVP, Drake May top 5, Drake May top 3. But when we look at the numbers, man, he's been very ordinary. It really reminds me of Big Ben 05 postseason run when they won Super Bowl. Like, just doing just enough, nothing gaudy, just very to the vest, turnover here and there, but, like, it hasn't really cost them anything. Like, it's just very, like, the numbers. Like, he's first round, he was 17-29, 268, touchdown and pick, right? QB rating 86. Houston 16-27, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and a fumble, right? Yesterday, 10-21, weather barring, I get it, 86 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. I just want to get ahead of this because we're so quick, and when I say we, I'm talking about, like, just fans and, like, the NFL, the sports world. We're so quick to don guys as the next coming of something great, and we have to remember this: they played a last place schedule. He's been very ordinary in the playoffs. They played a quarterback who had 4 turnovers in a game last week. Like, I just want to put everything in perspective before the talk starts going left about Drake May being the next Tom Brady or the next great quarterback. I'm not saying he's not going to be great, but we want to spoon feed this and let him unveil to us what he can do and what he cannot do. Now, I'm not saying he's not MVP candidate this year. He is. He's been great. Him and Stafford. I think Stafford should win it, but him and Stafford have been top 2. But a lot of times we put the cart before the horse of talking about greatness when it hasn't been shown just yet. So I just wanted to say that.
And I think Drake May I think he is the next great quarterback. I'd also, at the same time, think that for any great quarterback, especially young ones, your second, third year guys who come in and may, have these MVP level regular seasons, maybe have a deep playoff run. Regardless, I think for any young quarterback, with very few exceptions, I think if I'm top of my head, obviously it's Marino, who's second year, make the Super Bowl, go up against one of the greatest teams in pro sports history, and then it's Mahomes, second year, first year starting MVP. Like, you could tell from those guys that they were a cut above, like the even a lot of the top tier elite guys of their time. Those are, like, the only exceptions. Everybody else, like, I need to see at least another regular season, another playoff run. Like there has to be like multiple data points for us to point to say that hey, Drake May is a top 5 guy. Now, are there 5 quarterbacks that I would want for the next 10 years? No. I definitely think that he's putting himself in that clear franchise quarterback mode. And I think he deserves to be in conversation for like that 5th spot as far as like who's the top 5, tier 1 quarterbacks in the league with Mahomes, Lamar, Josh, Stafford, and then Drake May. He definitely deserves to be in conversation for that 5th spot, but like nothing's definitive right now. One regular season, great regular season as was. Everything Frank said, like, hey, the schedule, the guys that he's going up against in the playoffs, like we haven't seen enough evidence definitively to say, hey, he's a top 5 quarterback. He's a tier 1 quarterback, period. So, how he performs 2 weeks from now will go a long way into continuing to further that conversation. But I agree with Frank. Like, I think while he's had a regular season that is deserving to put him up in there. One, just the lack of just consistency, longevity, and then, the schedule, just the road it took to kind of get to this point should give us a little pause. And it's fine if we wait a year to see if he can do this again in a regular season and make another point. That's fine.
Yeah, let's wait a year. Let's wait a year. Like, same thing with. I mean, look, I don't know if y'all remember this talk, but like when Colin Kaepernick did that 475 yards total offense against Green Bay Packers in 2020, was that 2010, 2011? The talk was he's the next great dual threat quarterback. Let's he's up there with Vic and Randall Cunningham and all these type of things. And then he kind of hit a wall after that. It wasn't the same. We're so excited to see the next shiny toy that sometimes we get a little bit premature about it. I think Drake's gonna be great. I agree with Tristan. I think Drake's gonna be a great quarterback for a long time. He just has the tangibles that you love in a quarterback, the size, the arm strength, the knowledge of the game already. He's been very, very good. Great this year. I mean, he's an MVP candidate. I just want to not put so much on the kid so early and just let's let the process go through before we start donning guys the next great OG of the league.
Yeah, I mean, if he's the next Tom Brady, then he can be like the next Tom Brady during the first few championships, because Tom Brady was the game manager for the first couple of championships they won. And you can draw the similarities where Tom Brady had a famous snow game, obviously way more famous than the one we watched yesterday, but there's some similarities. Obviously, I mean, Drake May's a much better athlete. I mean, without his legs, he's not, they're not in the Super Bowl, but yeah, we need to pump the brakes on the guy. He had a really good season, and now he'll be the second youngest quarterback to ever start a Super Bowl behind Dan Marino. He's the 4th second-year quarterback in the last 7 years to lead a team to the Super Bowl. That's Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Brock Purdy, the other 3. So pretty good company. Obviously, he's got a long way to go before we call him the next Brady or the next great quarterback, but he's off to a good start. The playoffs have not been a showcase for him and his abilities. And you can honestly say that for the entire league. It hasn't been like the greatest playoffs. However, the game last night in Seattle was a showcase of some of the better talent that we've seen in the last few years. And let's get to that game, because the Seahawks got the win. They're advancing to their 4th Super Bowl ever with a 31-27 win over the Rams. Sam Darnold had a really good game, maybe the best game of his career. 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. He didn't turn the ball over. Also, that's important. Jackson Smith-Njigba had a huge game. This is a fun one, Tristan. What did you think about this matchup?
I thought it was the best overall game that we got in the playoffs. Yeah. I thought it was by far the best quarterback game, and the statistics prove it. That was Sam Darnold and Matt Stafford. Both of them over 300 yards, both of them 3+ touchdowns, no picks. The last time that happened, well, the only other time that's happened.
The 13-second game.
13-second. Mahomes at Allen 2021 divisional round. as I said in the group chat, man, these white dudes are quarterbacking, bro. They are quarterbacking their asses off, man. Like they were going dick for dick out there. It was amazing to watch, man, because Seattle, it really played out, honestly, exactly like I thought it would. I thought Seattle was the best team, but I did think that I had more trust in Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams and Puka and Sean McVay. But I also said, hey, man, if Sam Darnold shows up, then Seattle's going to win. And show up he did. Like that, you said might be. That was absolutely, without doubt, the best game of Sam. Like, this is the best game I've seen him play ever.
Yeah.
You know, USC, like I've never seen him that much in control, making big time throws, just making really simple reads when, you know, the Rams were, you know, playing, you know, soft coverage, like, hey, just taking what the defense gives you, matriculating the ball down the field, using his legs, like the full Sam Darnold experience, the completely positive Sam Darnold experience was on display, man. Like that, I've never seen him play a game that well, you know what I'm saying, and just quarterbacking. Like he had the Rams defense on the edge. I mean, he was just attacking guys all over the field. That was a great game. And I think both quarterbacks were excellent. I can't look at that and say, man, if Stafford would have did this. I thought Stafford was excellent, and I thought Sam Darnold was better within him. And it's really as simple as that. Like these are, I thought, the two best teams in the NFL. Essentially, you know, you don't want to be disrespectful to the AFC, but you know, we talked about it, me and you, Justin, like, hey, this could be like the Super Bowl, essentially, because whoever wins is going to be heavily favored. But if Seattle's winning a shootout, if Seattle can beat you in the shootout, then Seattle's going to beat New England by 10 plus at the very least, man, because they essentially have everything that you need. If Sam Darnold is going, I don't need Sam Darnold to have the same game he just had Sunday.
Right.
If he just has 80% of that game, and the defense continues to show up, Seattle's going to win that game. But I thought it was very well executed game by both, right? The Rams, when they got down, I think they got down with 10, 9, something like that. They were down 2 scores.
They were down 31-20 at one point.
So 11. And every single time they drove down, like just big boy drive after big boy drive. Essentially into the end when they needed that touchdown. They were down 4, needed a touchdown, decided not to go for the 3. A decision I heavily support. But essentially that game came down to the fact that the secondary couldn't get stops, right? Which I think informs the decision to go forward on 4th and 4, knowing that they were struggling getting stops against them. But just overall, man, great game. Like I walked away I felt like I needed a cigarette after that game. Like it was it was exhilarating in so many different ways.
I do want to. I was going to bring up about the 4th and 4 play because obviously Sean Payton, his decision was way worse, but I do think in that moment, Sean McVay, you have a chance. There's 4:59, basically 5 minutes to go. Mm-hmm. You're going to get the ball back. It's a chip shot field goal. You can make it where it's a 1-point game. To me, I can see why he went for it. I get it because basically it was basically 4th and goal. I mean, it's 4th and 4, but it's like you're inside the 10 or so. So you're probably going to get a touchdown if you get the first down. But I don't know. If he had kicked it, I wouldn't have said that was a bad decision because like I could get like, hey, there's a lot of time left in this game. You're going to get the ball back and have a chance to maybe kick a field goal to win the game instead of having to score a touchdown. So I get that. Frank, your thoughts on this game?
I thought whoever won this game was going to Super Bowl. I thought this was. I think this game will be more competitive than the Super Bowl in a couple weeks. Both quarterbacks played out of their minds. I was thoroughly surprised at how great Darnold played. He was. Our boy in our group chat sent an IG reel of like some of the things that the Rams are trying to do secondary wise with some of the exotic coverages in secondary, and Darnold's just his level of play of recognizing that pre-snap is just he's miles better than even than he was in Carolina and San Fran. Like it's just the like Tristan said, the mental reps, the physical reps that you get over time. You know, he's only 28. Like we forget how young he is. Like he's younger than Pat. He's younger than Josh Allen. He's younger than than Lamar. Like he's only 28, and like his third eye was open last night. Like there was nothing you could have done to trick him. So I'm going to give him his credit there. Like I didn't think he'll play that great. Now, here's what drove me crazy about this game yesterday. I love offensively driven games. I love high scoring games. But watching that game, it looked like I was watching game 3 of a 5-game series in the AODS, and it's a bullpen game, and there's no starting pitchers. Guys are just, the bullpen, the fastball's not working, but they keep throwing the fastball, and the 3, 4, 5 hitters are just hitting at the park or just get extra base hits. I watched all 3 of these Seattle LA games this year, and I don't understand how Puka and Jason are just going ham in the coverage. Like not one time, and I'm talking about both defenses. And Seattle more so than LA. Like Seattle has a top 5 defense. I watched 3 games of these 2 guys averaging 130 yards each game against each other. What the fuck? Like, why is it nobody rolling coverage on these guys? These are number 1. These are already top 5 receivers moving forward for the next 8, 9, 10 years. Like the touchdown that Puka scored to cut it to 4 on that on that first down play after the Woolen unsportsmanlike conduct. That was single coverage with a safety. Like what the fuck? And then like even the throw that Darnold missed in the end zone to JSN, again, he was wide open, single coverage. Yeah. Like Puka had 14 targets. Like what are we doing? Like if I'm Seattle, that is a 2-2 at will Devontae Adams game. Like or Ty Ferguson, Kobe Parkinson game. I'm taking Puka out of here. He's not doing anything against us. In a league where, and I get it, I know McVay does a great job of like moving him around and put him in the backfield, put him in the H-back motion. I get it. But again, 3 guys are following him wherever he goes. I'm playing man matchup zone, and I'm following Puka. Same with JSN. Jason, wherever and Seattle doesn't move Jason around as much as McVay does with Puka. With that being said, there are 3 guys on him. I'm either playing quarters and bringing 2 extra DBs, and I put a DB at linebacker, and we're shading everything to Jay's inside. It's amazing to me how these defensive coordinators did not adjust at all in any of these games. And this game itself, to go to the Super Bowl, how none of these motherfuckers thought to themselves, you know what? Jason has 9 catches for 97 yards in the second quarter. He had 90 yards in the second quarter, bro. Like that will behoove me to be like, you know what? Let's go into halftime and let's figure out a game plan to take him out. If Cooper Kupp gets 9 for 105 and I lose, fuck it. I can go to bed saying that, you know what? I took out Seattle's best weapon, and Cooper Kupp went back to 2021, his Triple Crown year, and beat us. I can live with that. I can sleep at night knowing I did my best. But if you're the Rams and your defense, you're playing this fucking zone, not bringing any pressure, and letting this man run right down the middle of your fucking field every fucking play, it's insane to me. That is insane behavior to me. I don't understand it. I do not get it.
I'm going to shoot both DCs a little bit of bail. Quick bail.
Please. I need to hear it.
As far as Puka, the Seattle actually did do that on 4th down. On 4th down, they took out Puka, they took out Devontae, and they made Stafford go into like his 3rd, 4th reads in the end zone, and he had nothing. He had to like throw it to Ty Ferguson in the back of the end zone. He was single covered, got locked up, and that essentially was the game. On the Rams side, for JSN, like all his damage was done on first and second down. Obviously, yeah, he still torched them, but he had 0 catches on third or fourth down. Like they situationally, they did a good job of taking those guys away, but like you said, they didn't really have neither DC had answers for them, bringing Puka out of the backfield, having them line up, go through like C gaps, for his route. Same thing with JSN. Like they put him in the backfield a lot more than they normally do throughout the season. And then the Rams had nothing for him on that because he was getting where he wanted to. But they did make it at least more of a concerted effort to take those guys away on those like tight situations, fourth and 4 at the goal line, essentially, and then any third or fourth down on Seattle side. But on the other, first and second down, those guys were doing whatever the hell they wanted to.
I need DCs to look at it might have been 2015, whenever the AFC Championship game, Steelers Pats. Bill Belichick is a defensive wizard. He is known for whoever your best weapon is, he's taking him away. You're not playing with that weapon in this game. And I'm the defense coordinator on. Antonio Brown in that particular game against the Pats had 2 catches for 12 yards. They took him out. Like they literally took him out of the game. And in today's football, the receiver position is so dependent on the quarterback play, on how the coverage is being dictated to their side, wherever they're at. It's too easy to, if you want to put all your bricks and all your artillery towards stopping the guy, you can in football. It's just too easy. And I don't understand how teams don't do that. Like it's the Seattle is, as of late, Kenneth Walker has been a mainstay as of late, and he's been great. I'm taking a chance. Like, look, let's go quarters, let's go nickel, let's go down. Like, take out that extra linebacker and bring another DB. This is Jason he's no one in fantasy for a reason, dog. Like he's no one receiver this year in fantasy, and he's no one in the NFL in receptions and touchdowns. Like this is not a secret. Like you've known this for the better part of the whole season. Yeah. He's put his foot in your asses for the better part of 3 games. Is like I don't understand how you didn't have a better game plan of taking him out. It's again, if Cooper Kupp kills me, look, bro, fuck it. All right, that's what's up. And then as far as the fourth down play, again, your defense has been struggling getting stops. And I'm a firm believer in this. If you kick the field goal, make it 31-30, I don't think Seattle is as aggressive on those second and third downs. Those legs they ran, I don't think they're as aggressive if it's a 1-point lead as opposed to a 4-point lead. Because if it's an incomplete pass or the clocks, or you stop the clock, you're giving the Rams a free timeout pretty much. I think they run it 3 times. I think they say, you know what, we got a top 3 defense. Let's put it out there. Let's get 1 stop if we can't get a first down. I think not kicking the field goal changed Seattle's approach to how aggressive they wanted to be in that last drive.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Hey, you brought up Cooper Kupp. I want to get to, he did have a big catch late in the game, about 3 minutes to go on a 3rd down. He caught a ball, took a couple steps, went to the ground, did not survive the ground. The ball came out. It was not a fumble. It was not called an incomplete pass. It was called a catch, and he was down. Now, after last week, we watched, different catches, different plays from Brandon Cook's play to Devontae Adams' play in Chicago. Tristan, what did you think about this play? Did you think that Cooper Kupp was a clear catch? Was it incomplete? Was it a fumble? What say you?
I thought it was a catch, with the caveat that, man, I needed some of these that you need about 2 to 3 replays. Live, man, we all just guessing.
Yeah.
We're all just guessing. We're waiting on the rest to tell us what it is. But after about 2 to 3 replays, that's a catch. I'm cool with it.
Okay. Frank, what about you? He didn't
know.
Survive the ground. I've been told. Yeah.
I don't know what a catch. I know. I'm not even going to ask when I say I don't know what a catch is. I don't. I do not know what a catch is. To me, it seems like every year the narrative changes. The 3 concepts of what a catch is changes from play to play, from game to game. I don't know. I don't know. I think if you challenge that, I think whoever you rule it as is what it is. I don't think it changes. I don't know. To me, the one last week seemed like a catch to me too. Like, but I don't know. I don't know what a catch is. And I'm a former receiver. I don't know what a catch is. I don't.
No, I agree with you. Whatever they call on the field, they're not likely to overturn with a catch anymore. They're just going to say, well, not enough to overturn it, or we don't know what a catch is either, I guess. So anyway, that's going to be something we watch every week now from now till the end of time is what is a catch in the NFL. One of the final things I want to mention, I saw this today and I was kind of surprised by it. Then I thought about it. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but Sam Darnold is the only, he now becomes the first USC quarterback to start in the Super Bowl. Tristan, does that stat or that nugget, does that surprise you, or how does that?
No, because I've been a college football fan for 30 years at this point, and we've had multiple conversations about USC quarterbacks and the hype that they have in college and how a lot of that just simply doesn't translate. Now, there's been some that have been close. Carson Palmer got to a conference championship game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Caleb Williams this year got to the divisional. I think Caleb Williams will be the next one to play unless Sam goes back to back, to the Super Bowl. But I think Caleb will be the next one. Yeah, it didn't shock me at all, man. Like, who are your candidates? Like Todd Marinovich, like
Matt Leinart, Mark Sanchez.
Matt Sanchez, Mark Sanchez was probably, he had to be obviously Carson Palmer, and then before that Mark Sanchez, but not a lot of great candidates when you start look at the USC quarterback history.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez, he lacked the killer instinct on the field. On the field, not off the field. Off the field, he had.
Ka-choo-choo.
But like Frank, when I first heard that, I was like, Tristan's right. The hype that USC gets, you're like, oh, they must have had a ton back in the day or something. But really, it's really like, again, Todd Marinovich, Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, probably the best USC quarterback until, Caleb Williams, I think, in my opinion. But it is kind of a surprising thing. But then you think about it, you're like, not really. How many Texas quarterbacks have started the Super Bowl? Has a Texas quarterback started in the Super Bowl? From the University of Texas.
If you really go back and look at the good quarterbacks in the league, great quarterbacks, not a lot of them come from bigger schools.
No. They don't.
You could cherry pick from some, like, hey, Jim Kelly, Miami. Wow. Like, it's super early 80s, like before Miami became Miami.
Right.
Like, this just, you think about like Ohio State, how many Ohio State quarterbacks have played the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Michigan is all Tom Brady and nothing else, that's it. It's just not. Our best quarterbacks tend to come from like not mid-majors, but like your smaller, like Pitt, like places like that. That's where the majority of them come from.
Yeah, think about like Patrick Mahomes. Like, he went to Texas Tech. He was only offered a scholarship from 3 schools: Texas Tech, the University of Houston, and Rice. Those are the only 3 schools to offer him a scholarship. And then you have like Josh Allen, who went to Wyoming. Like, the quarterback position is very interesting because it's like it's all these guys who are kind of like late round picks, guys that or guys that came from smaller schools. It's rarely, like you said, I can't name an Ohio State quarterback who's played the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl. An Alabama quarterback who's, I guess Jalen Hurts, right? But like beside Joe Namath, that was 100 years ago, So
Kenny Stabler.
Oh, Kid Stabler, yeah, okay. Yeah, but still, that was 1970s.
It's not, honestly, SEC, you really go back and look at the SEC quarterbacks. It's not a long history of like really great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Just Stafford comes to mind. That's the only really comes to mind. Georgia. Yeah. Good. Yeah, Stafford comes to mind. That's really the only one. On top of that, like I said, I sort of graphed it yesterday, like Stafford's part of that Darnold's part of that 2018 class. So we're talking about Lamar, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. He's the first quarterback in the Super Bowl out of that class. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Getting on his path.
But also was crazier is that the Bills had to watch the Patriots dominate that division for 2 decades.
Right.
They got it, and they still haven't made they still haven't made a Super Bowl in the time that it took the Patriots to fire 3 coaches, 2 coaches. And the third coach, however many quarterbacks, and they're back in the Super Bowl before the Bills could even get to one. That's wild. They should be ashamed of themselves.
That is wild.
Stephon Diggs has made a Super Bowl before Josh Allen. Let that sink in. Stephon Diggs has collected 4 baby mamas in the last calendar year and has now made a Super Bowl. That is crazy. Life is cruel.
Stephon Diggs could probably field an expansion franchise in a few years. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But no, speaking of the Super Bowl, so the big game, February 8th, Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, Patriots versus Seahawks. It's on NBC this year. Seattle is currently a 4.5 point favorite. And for the Patriots, this is their 12th appearance in the Super Bowl, which is the most in NFL history. They're seeking to win their 7th ring, which is also would be the most. They're tied with the Steelers right now at 6. To me, this is the part that's like really, like, I think Tristan just kind of hit on it. It's like, it's remarkable that the Patriots are already back. I really thought they were going to be bad for a long time. And, it's funny because, Brady leaves, he goes to Tampa Bay, wins right away, right? Now the Patriots are back in the Super Bowl. It's funny because it was the Brady Belichick era, and Belichick is now stuck at North Carolina, where, getting to be bowl eligible is going to be a tough task for him. Really, it's not. If he sticks around to even, finish out that deal, which I don't imagine he will. It's just funny how this has kind of played out and how the Patriots are now back. And, who knows? This might be a 1-year fluke and they're a middling team the next 5 years. But it seems like this might be the beginning of another like kind of Patriots run where they're certainly, a high level playoff team.
And this is not even a team that's reaches offensive personnel potential. Like, I know they spent a lot of money on defense this past offseason. Wait till they start retooling that offense. Like, Drake's doing this with like a bunch of 2s and 3s at receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hendricks, the rookie running back from Ohio State, he didn't catch fire until like mid-season. Ramondre had a fumbling issue for the better part of 2 months, and he was pretty much labbed. So it's like if they do this right, which I don't know if Vrabel's prowess as a guy that can help put it together offense, but if they draft well these next couple of years on the Drake's rookie deal, they can put together an offensive team that could really vie for top supremacy for the next 3 or 4 years.
So let's get into the matchup. What do we think is going to happen? Tristan, who's your pick? And what do you think about the matchup overall?
Man, I have Seattle. Clearly, I have Seattle. I think Seattle has on defense. They have the ability to really stifle the Patriots' run game, force them into 3rd and longs. We've seen what Drake May can look like in obvious passing situations against a great pass rush. So they can get to him there. Offensively, again, if Sam Darnold is going to be able to like dissect defenses pre-snap and after the snap the way he did on Sunday, it's going to be a long day for the Patriots. And they're very young defense. I like Christian Gonzalez a lot, but Christian Gonzalez also gets burnt a lot. Like he's good, but he's not. I don't think he's like elite yet. Like he's definitely a Pro Bowl caliber corner. He's not an All-Pro, and he's not like Surtain or Stingley. So can the Patriots stop the run game and like put more pressure on Sam Darnold to like have to drive back and make stuff happen? And if that does happen, can they, like Frank was ranting about, can they take away JSN and make Sam Darnold get to, second read, third read? Because traditionally that's where he struggled after you get him off his first and second read. If they can do that, they can keep it close. But I just feel like Seattle is really well oiled at all points, from quarterback to run game to receiving core to, D-line, that secondary. Like I don't know if there's a lot of weak points for New England to hit. I definitely trust in Vrabel to have them prepared defensively, and I trust Josh McDaniels to be able to scheme up, a big play here and there. But like with Seattle, you got to get those things consistently, and you have to get them in moments where they could be up 9 points, right? And you could be in obvious passing situations and they can tee off on you while still, being protected on the backside with that secondary. So it could be a long day for New England and Drake May. I'm taking Seattle. I'm taking Seattle. I'll be conservative, say by 8.
Okay.
Close game. It'll be one of those, man, the score was closer than it looked, but I have Seattle by 8.
Okay. Frank, who you got, and what do you think about the matchup?
I got Seattle too. I'm still. I mean, I've said a lot of superlatives to talk about Drake, Sam Darnold, how great he's played the last few weeks. This is a good defense he's going against. It's a very good defense. I don't think he's going to do what he did against the Rams. The Rams were reeling personnel wise on the last month of the season. I'm still worried about if bad Sam Darnold shows up. I think Vrabel and that staff could cook up some like exotic packages because they have a better front seven than the Rams. They have a better front four. And I think the Patriots defensive coaching staff would do a better job of like mixing and matching with Jason and like using their strengths. Christian Gonzalez and maybe it'll sit over the top to like help offset JSN. Michael Williams, Michael Williams, the DT for the pass. He was out for a lot of the season. He came back and it kind of transformed that front seven. They've been able to bring pressure. They've been able to be successful in their stunt packages. This could be a game where Darnold could struggle. I mean, I don't think he's out of the woods yet as far as like us just depending on him and relying on him and trusting him to be good to great every week. I think he still has that game, and I hope he doesn't have that game. I mean, that would suck to like play as well as he's played the last 2 weeks, only to regress and have a 20-yard game, 3 turnover game, and have a vital turnover to lose the game. Yeah. I do think that's a possible. I think that's possible. But if he's taking care of the football, and again, Seattle needs to run the football. Kenneth Walker has become their engine to that offense. They need to run the football, keep down in distance, second, win first down, keep it third and manageable. If they do that, then and Don takes care of the football, I don't think New England has the horses to keep up with them scoring wise. I don't think this is Drake May's last Super Bowl run. I think as the years go by, he'll get better. The team will be better off of the pieces around him. But it's just, I thought whoever won the Seattle Rams game was going to win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to stick to that. I think I got Seattle 31-23.
Okay. So I got Seattle also. I'm going to say 27-17. I just think they're just a better team all around. And, yeah, I mean, if the Patriots defense can, get to Darnold, then maybe the Patriots can pull off the upset. But I just think Seattle's a better team across the board. So I think we're going to see the Seahawks get their second ever Super Bowl title on February 8th. My final thing with the Super Bowl, I want to ask y'all just real quick. Are you excited about this game, this matchup? Because I'm really not. Like, honestly, on Super Bowl Sunday, I'm looking forward to, and I hope that we get an Avengers Doomsday trailer. Like, that's going to I'll probably just watch that like 100 times on my phone during the game. I'll probably just kind of have like the game will be like a second screen experience while I'm watching and breaking down the trailer. But otherwise, like the game, like I think it'll be a good game, but I'm not like I'll just put it this way: if the NFL said, you know what, we're going to cancel the Super Bowl this year, I'll be like, oh, that's okay. I got other stuff to watch. Like I don't need to watch it. Like it's if they go, you know what, we're going to have these guys play Madden to determine who wins the Super Bowl. Go for it. I don't care. That might be more entertaining, honestly.
Justin, come on, man.
I just these 4 teams that were left. Honestly, there was no matchup that I was like, man, this is going to be fun to watch. It just wasn't.
We got a classic. We just got through talking about a classic game.
No, we had a good. It was a good game. It was a good game, but like, I don't know, man. Just
we had 2 quarterbacks playing on a Mahomes and Josh Allen level last night, man.
But we have an MVP candidate. We have an MVP candidate coming out of the AFC going against the resurgent Sam Darnold and a prolific head of offense with a great like the number 3 defense against an MVP candidate. That's not enough to
no, but see,
interest.
It's funny because like like in sports, like a lot of us are like, oh yeah, we hate when there's like a Warriors or a Chiefs or a Yankees or whatever, right? But then like whenever it's like wide open and it's like the NCAA tournament, it's like you really don't want like the Sweet 16 full of like a bunch of Cinderellas, right? You want Kansas and Duke and Kentucky. You want to see those big schools. And I just don't feel like we're seeing the big like. I don't know. For me personally, I'm just not excited, but clearly y'all are. So Tristan, are you excited for this matchup?
These are like top 2 seeds.
No, absolutely. But that more speaks to the overall like how it's a wide open playoffs, right? Like,
I'm very excited. I'm super excited, honestly. I think from the quarterback angle, with like Coop said, Sam Darnold. Resurrecting his career last year in Minnesota, having a great regular season, faltering at the end. It's kind of a lot of those old Sam Darnold, demons coming back, and then him coming, going to Seattle this year, having another great regular season, and then saving literally the best game of his life for the conference championship game. I think adds a lot of that storyline. Kendrick may ascend, continue his ascendance to being a top level quarterback. Yeah. I think that's a good one. I mean, we got, 2, Vrabel's in his first year, but like, obviously he's not a new coach, but like new situation. Like, can he bring back that Patriots success, bring another Super Bowl? Mike McDaniel in his first year, like this stuff here, like I think whether this was a parody type year or the same great teams that we've seen, I think Seattle would be one of the best teams regardless. Like they just are a team that they have it all. Again, the worst part of them is the quarterback, and if he's playing well, that's a team that's going to win. I would say 3 times every 10 years, like that. This is a really, really good team. And we may have to like kind of bite that bullet and say the same thing about the Patriots. Like, yeah, the schedule was soft, one of the softest ever. Young O-line, young defense, young weapons for the most part outside of Stephon. But like, this is a team that could be around for the next few years. Like, this could be the start of something, As a Chiefs fan, I'm definitely looking like, man, this is a team that could be, we might have to deal with. Yesterday's game could have been in Foxborough, and it was way worse. It was like 3 times as worse snow-wise as Denver. So like, yeah, like this is something that we need to like keep tabs on. Like, this is maybe a team that, hey, you could see coming in the Arrowhead for a championship game. You may have to go to Foxborough. Like, there's a lot of stuff there,
Yeah.
And I think these are also 2 well-coached, very talented teams. Like, New England doesn't have a ton of high-end talent. I would say Seattle has a little bit more of that, but I think we're going to get a good game. I just think that there's a clear gap between Seattle and New England. Can New England overcome that? Like, they're going to be underdogs. Like, we're seeing New England Patriots as an underdog for the first time in since what 2001. You're like, this
Super
is
Bowl, yeah.
yeah, like this. There's a lot of fun storylines here, man. I think we're in for like a really good game.
Frank, your excitement level for this Super Bowl?
I'm very excited, man. I'm so excited. Seattle's one of those teams where we forget how good Seattle has been in spite of the quarterback position prior to this year. They were a 7, 8, 9 win team the last 4 years, and a big reason why was because of Geno Smith. Like, a lot of these pieces were here last year, and they couldn't win because Geno was just so inept in turn over the ball, just so inept. Like, they were just so unserious because we knew sooner or later Geno Smith was going to commit a costly fumble here, a pick six there, miss an errant throw there, and triple coverage here. It's in seeing the level of play transcend to Super Bowl level with the quarterback. It just shows you what Seattle has done. Like, Seattle, I don't know. I know the NFL honors is probably next Sunday. What they did in the last 12 months, like flipping Geno Smith for a 3rd-round pick, getting off that contract, pretty much paying Darnold $35 million a year, which is peanuts for a quarterback for the next 3 years. Like, and getting Cooper Kupp on a cheap deal, and he's paid dividends in the postseason. Getting DeMarcus Lawrence from Dallas, he's been so good for them on the D line. The secondary, they've played so well. Jason's breakout year this year. They have the recipe to be a mainstay in the NFC for the next couple of years. And then for the Pats, Drake May's an MVP candidate. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
They've had a very weak schedule, but there was a point in time where we thought he was the all-out favorite with MVP until Stafford went crazy the last month of the season. But I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see Stephon Diggs in the Super Bowl. Like, this is a guy he's been much maligned, diva this, diva that. Like, I think him getting thrown to the side and thrown away by Houston, I think really humbled him to make him realize that, hey man, I'm 32. I'm on the back now of my career. Let me act right. And I think culture, the Vrabel culture has really straightened him out, like as far as like him being available and dependable on the field. I'm excited to see this game. I mean, I know Seattle's favored by 5, but I think Seattle's gonna win by 7+ points. But again, once upon a time when the Rams played the Pats and the Rams were a double-digit point favorite, and the Pats with a young Tom Brady, they won. It kicked off a franchise generational Hall of Fame run for a coach and a quarterback for the better part of 15 seasons. So I'm excited to see not only the game, but what can come out of this moving forward for both franchises.
Yeah, no, they'll make good points. You're right. This could be the beginning of something special. But for me right now, in this moment, this feels like a transitional year. In the story of the NFL, the 100+ year story of the NFL, this is like a transitional year. Now that may prove to be, totally wrong in a couple of years, but right now that's how I'm feeling. So speaking of transition, let's move on to the coaching moves. There's been some moves the last few days. I want to get y'all's thoughts on some of this stuff. First off, the Steelers hired former Packers and former Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy. Tristan, do you think this means we're going to get an Aaron Rodgers comeback and reunion with McCarthy? Or
oh hell no! Those dudes do not rock with each other, man.
What do you think about the hire, the move? Yeah,
it's two schools of thought, right? I think the conventional thought after Tomlin stepped down was that, hey, this is an opportunity for the Steelers to like take a step back, kind of bottom out a little bit, instead of shooting for 9 wins. Be cool with like 3 to 4 wins, right? And then, getting a top pick in the draft, hopefully getting a quarterback that you so badly need that you can develop, and you can get them on their rookie deal and kind of fill out the roster after that and try to build a contender. That's one school of thought. The other school of thought is hiring a guy like McCarthy means that at the very least, you're going to still be competent. right? Now, can you achieve both of those? Can you be a competent team while also, I won't say tanking, but also like, setting yourself up to possibly draft a quarterback in the first round next year, somebody that you truly believe in, that you can kind of throw all your resources behind.
Right.
So I'm confused with Pittsburgh as far as like, what is their direction? Do they realize that they need a quarterback? Right? Do they realize that the reason that Mike Tomlin wasn't able to maximize those rosters and win playoff games is because it's the lack of quality quarterback play? Honestly, since Big Ben got hurt, I would say around like 2015, 2016, they haven't had a quarterback since then. So I'm confused about it because I just don't know what direction they're going. But like I said, at the very least, they hired a coach who's going to be competent. And if you look at his resume compared to like Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, they have the same resume, essentially, almost the same win percentage, one Super Bowl. I think he's second in that group as far as like playoff wins. You essentially got like Tomlin light. It's like at some point you're gonna have to bottom out and get that quarterback. So like however you get it is however you get it. But they're gonna be a competent team at the very least.
Yeah, I agree with that. Frank, you look at McCarthy's his resume now. He's gonna have coached some of the most storied franchises in the NFL: the Packers, the Cowboys, now the Steelers. What do you think about the decision to hire Mike McCarthy?
It's cool, I guess. I mean, I don't. It's cool. It's fine. It's not a. I don't see the hire as like, oh shit, cutting edge. Let's. They're gonna be this high flying offense or this quality team all around. Like he's an average. He's a slightly above average coach. Cool. What are you doing at quarterback? I don't care how good the coach is. You got to start the quarterback. The Roonies, I don't know, man. I don't know what their plan is. It feels like to me, and look, I don't know. Maybe they've tried in drafts and they try to move up and try to get certain quarterbacks and they just didn't work out. I don't know, but it looks like to me from the exterior that they're just putting a Band-Aid over the quarterback position over the last decade. Like Big Ben got hurt 10 years ago. And they didn't have a plan in place to find his heir apparent. Like the wheels are falling off at 14. Like with Big Ben. Like let's be real here. Like it was, you saw the Nixon injuries and all that kind of stuff, the drop off in play, the turnovers of Big Ben, and like they didn't take serious like how pertinent it was to find his replacement. And even now, like I don't know if they're going to find that guy in this draft or they're going to try to maneuver that way to find a guy in this draft. I mean, McCarthy's a stabilizer. He hasn't been bad. I mean, every team he's coached has been, at least decent. So
yeah,
it just depends on when he gets a quarterback.
Then staying in the division, their rival Ravens hired their new head coach, the former Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. Tristan, any thoughts on this move?
He obviously he coached there, so he has familiarity with it. I thought he's done a good job with the Chargers. Since he's been there. That's the extent of my analysis. But like I said, he obviously has familiarity with coaching in Baltimore. Those guys know him. I have to assume that he has, blessing from like those leaders on the defense. It should be good. Like ultimately, who are you trusting to run your offense? How much input is Lamar going to have over, who's OC, passing game quarterbacks coach? Like,
right.
Ultimately, this is going to come down to like what you do with that offense and Lamar. So I don't think it's a bad hire. Obviously he's a young guy, somebody that, Baltimore is pretty famous, like just like the Steelers. Like, hey, when we hire a guy, we give him every opportunity to like, display his vision, execute that vision, and you give him a good enough runway. So ultimately, I think that's a good hire for him. You could see him being there for a while. Obviously, him coming back there means that he, is very fond of his time in Baltimore. So we'll see, man. Also, what are you gonna do with that offense? Who's gonna be your OC? That's I think that's the thing that we look for next.
Mm-hmm. And Frank, the Chargers. So the Chargers defensive coordinator took the Ravens head coaching job, and they, as far as the offensive coordinator, they just hired former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel. So what do you think about these moves?
I know nothing about this Minter. I'm not even gonna act like I can give you analysis on that. I mean, cool. Mike McDaniel, I'm surprised he didn't hold on a little bit longer for one of these other jobs. I know Buffalo opened up recently. I'm surprised he held for that job. Or maybe he doesn't want to be a coach right now. He just kind of wants to focus on one side of the football. I don't know. But I mean it's a good move for the Chargers to bring in a fresh outlook. I just feel like with a guy like Justin Herbert, you want to have more of a creative offense or more wrinkles to the offense. I think Harbaugh's offense is kind of mundane for his quarterback skill set. So I think McDaniel could bring in a fresh perspective as far as adding wrinkles to the offense, and they gotta get pieces on the outside. Like their receiving core is. I don't think Quentin Johnston's in for a receiver. He's just not good. And I love Keenan Allen. He's been a really good receiver for the better part of 12 years, but it's time for him to go home and be a youth pastor or a father. He can't get open anymore. He's just not good. He's not good at getting open anymore, and that was his calling card for so many years. Being a route technician, a guy that can get separation and things of that nature. The ragtag receiving core that they put out there every Sunday was just disrespectful, and they need to upgrade that. The Bills' job is still open, right? They haven't hired anybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Open, yeah, Philip Rivers actually interviewed for the job. Yeah.
He removed his name from consideration as well.
Yeah. The Bills are becoming real Sacramento King-ish these last couple of weeks of how they moved, and I didn't know. And maybe this is a test of Josh Allen. I didn't know how clownish that franchise was. I don't know where they would be without Josh Allen. That is a clownish. They showed their ass these last 10 days. I'm really surprised at how foolish. I didn't know that owner was that foolish. He's very clownish. The GM is very Brandon Beane is very clownish. That's a clownish organization. And I want to give Josh Allen even more credit for quarterbacking this clownish program that is in Buffalo.
Yeah. Speaking of offensive coordinators and stuff, Tristan, let's talk about the Chiefs. They brought back Eric Bieniemy. What do you think about that move?
I think if Pat's cool with it, I'm cool with it. Again, would I have liked for them to go completely different, background, somebody with new voice, over EB? Yeah. But also can't ignore the fact that, when Eric Bieniemy was OC, offense was humming at a different pace, just a little better. The details, a lot of the stuff that I feel like Matt Nagy is not good at, just being detailed oriented. That's EB's calling card. Hopefully, being in Washington, being under Ben Johnson for a year, there's some different things that he can bring to the run game. That's the main thing I'm worried about, is making sure that that Kansas City has a viable run game that they can stick to, that teams have to respect, just to make the game easier for Mahomes and the rest of that offense. Making play calling easier, expanding what you can call, because teams are going to try to sell out the run. If we can get to that point where there could be a much more balanced offense, then I'm cool with it. There was different names, Mike McDaniel, the passing game coordinator for the Rams. I struggle with his name. pardon me, guy, super young guy, won't even try. Would I have liked that? I would have loved that, but I'm not mad at just bringing in some a consistent voice, somebody that you know is going to like really, really hold everybody on that offense accountable, and not just touch the passing game, but like really, really work with that running game. And from there, man, like ultimately, this is going to come down to, can the Chiefs get more high-end talent at the running back position, at the wide receiver position, playmakers on defense? Like that's going to be their path back to the championship game, and then hopefully the Super Bowl, and obviously a healthy Mahomes, and what you may have to like replace Travis Kelce, whether he comes back or not. Like who's going to be a tight end one? So there are more pressing issues, I would say, but like I think having EB back is a good thing. It's just I feel like they could have taken a bigger swing, in this transitional period that they're at as a franchise. But ultimately, I'm cool with it.
Frank, your thoughts on the Chiefs move?
Pat. Clearly, I guess Pat's cool with this. So I'm fine with it. I wanted Nate Shieldhouse, the passing game coordinator of Rams.
There you go.
Shieldhouse. Or Mac. I wouldn't follow Mike McDaniel too. The Chiefs, they ran at least they were bottom third in motion in the league last year. They moved guys around a lot. They lack creativity. They got real comfortable with their offense. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about retreads. Not to say Bieniemy was bad. I mean, past MVP year, his last MVP year was under Bieniemy when he was calling the plays. So I'm not. It's not a bad hire at all. I thought this could have been the right opportunity to like kind of branch out and like do something uncomfortable that's not really that you're not really familiar with, Andy. I think Andy is one of those people. He's so amped of like keeping his own people around him to his detriment and to his team's detriment. I thought some of the positional hires the last couple of years were questionable. Like Todd Pinkston was our running backs coach, bro. Like he never played running back in his life. He was a receiver, and a very average one at best. He was our running backs coach, and it reflected in like on the field too with our lack of quality running back play and explosiveness. The receiver coach never played. I think he played. I don't think he played college either. There's just a lot of just questionable positional hires on that side of the ball, and I really wanted Mike McDaniel or Nate Shieldhouse. I really wanted to see. And Nate Shieldhouse is 30. He's 35, so he's young, and he's from the McVay tree. He has a very fresh perspective. I mean, you saw yesterday against Seattle, like it would have been nice to see, him, with us, but I guess, if Pat's happy with it, I'm fine with it. I just wish we kind of went in a different direction.
Yeah, understandable. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? Anything else that we didn't mention that you want to touch on?
Nah, man, I think we got it all.
Got it all. We're good. Okay. So as we wrap up here, I want to say thanks to everybody who joined us in the live chat. We appreciate Flying Moose 11. That's a new name. Thanks for joining us there. And of course, thanks to Marcy for jumping in, saying hello, adding some comments. We really appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube later on, please comment. We enjoy that also. But also, if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. We're also available on audio platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you're checking us out on those platforms, be sure to give us a 5-star review. That also helps us out a lot. So, and we definitely appreciate it. So as we get here, so for Tristan, for Frank, I'm Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time when we review the Super Bowl and very likely the Avengers Doomsday trailer, which is more important to me anyway. But anyway, see you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.